Shall we get into some tuners, man?
Yeah, sure.
Let's tune. You're tuning your guitar. You got
Right.
tune, you got tone, you got pitch. We're tuning a guitar, right?
Well,
are we toning it or are we pitching it?
Depending on how you want to attack that problem. I mean, guitars. I mean, obviously, their guitars built in every price point you can think of and every quality level. And the problem that I see a lot is that people will buy a guitar to get started with, which is fine, and then they'll hang on to it for a little longer than they really ought to. They really should consider upgrading to something better. Now, some guys are pretty quick
outplay
like
your
that.
guitar.
Yeah, in a manner of speaking, you do. You get better than the guitar is able to give you.
Yeah, so I started out with a $400 guitar, a $200 acoustic guitar, and about a year and a half later, I moved into it's about $700 Crafter.
Okay.
And then about a year after that, I moved into a Martin, which was up around $2,000.
Right. And,
So, yeah.
But do you notice the quality drop?
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah,
absolutely.
and the tone jump.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Okay. And the
well,
way
you learned how to play a guitar and go, that's the guitar, not that one, right? So I
Right.
remember I picked
Right.
it out at Discount Music down in Atlanta, which is a little house in South Atlanta. It's a really cool place if you know what I'm
Yep,
talking
been
about.
there, been there
Purple
many
shutters
times.
on it
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff, gravel, right?
You
So I
should
went
know
in there.
George was there.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's still there anymore.
I don't know. This was a number of years ago. I mean, you worked on that guitar for me. I went out there and I said, I want this guitar. And he said, let me get a new one in the back. I said, no. This one, right?
Got you. Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move. A lot of people will they'll have the best guitar on demo. Okay, it sounds great, and they'll get you one in the back because they don't want that one leaving.
Because it sounds awesome and it sells
Sounds
the
right.
hell out of those guitars. But
That's right. And
when
and
you
not
find
every
the
guitar
guitar
sounds the same. You got to be you got to be careful.
Yeah.
Buy what you play.
with guitars, it's the wood. Like, and you've talked about it before.
Yeah.
It's the chemistry of the parts that go together
Well,
on that guitar and the quality of that wood. You've talked about that before.
It is. But the other thing that I'm having a problem with nowadays is the craftsmanship, and generally speaking, the public is no longer able to look at something and judge its quality level correctly. I'm seeing this a lot.
In general, or just in guitars?
Well,
is this a statement?
I can only apply it to guitars because that's what I
don't
see
disagree
and
with
work
you on both counts. I don't disagree with you.
But I would absolutely say that. I mean, a kid called me today, and I'm not going to mention too much, but basically he told me he had a Fender, and after about 30 minutes of conversation, I realized he didn't have a Fender at all. He had a Squire.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay. There's a big difference between Fender USA, Fender Mexican, Fender Indonesian, Fender, China.
Squire's Asia, right? Aren't they predominantly Asian?
It's China at this point, And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to harp on Chinese guitars. I mean, good craftsmen can be found in any country, but there is a definite difference in the quality level of the parts that they use, and there's a reason. They're trying for a price point.
Sure.
They're not trying to build to a quality level of the guitar. They're trying to build to a price. And when you do that, you are going to have to make compromises somewhere.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of drop D tuning that I find when I go into heavier tunes and heavier. It's like they're trying to get that deeper bass, that they're trying to get that bottom end.
Yeah. Well, now I'm not an expert on that, but I will say this: is sometime in the '80s, the drop D thing started to show up.
Yeah.
And then I would say it's probably the late '80s, mid to late '80s, and then when the grunge thing started happening,
I was just going to say
it just got super prevalent. Drop D was everywhere. And I say this because as a repairman, I wasn't getting many people asking me to tune it in drop D, as regular repair work. And then all of a sudden, in the late '80s, early '90s, I started to hear, hey man, I need that in drop D.
Wow. Okay.
Or you did this in standard, I need it in drop D. So. And then in the 2000s, it was like, I need this in C sharp minor, and I'm like, is that below?
What is that?
Is that below or above?
Which one?
Are we baritone? We're in the baritone scale now.
Yeah, which octave are we in here?
Yeah, it was really confusing there for a bit, And
when I was playing in church bands and stuff like that, I remember saying, "Hey, my guitar didn't come with those chords." I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, you have to give the instrument and the players a lot of credit for taking. For many years, nobody even talked. When I was a kid, nobody talked about alternate tunings. What's that about?
Oh no!
Get good and standard.
Yeah.
That's just get good in standard and you'll be fine. And then alternate tunings began to take over, and I was like, wow, this really opens up a new dimension in guitar playing, and I had never thought of it. And then you start playing baritones, and multi-string basses, which I got introduced to that when I was working at Warrior.
You mean multi-string, like
multi-string
over
instruments,
four, like 5 and 6 string
7,
basses,
9,
that type of stuff.
10, 15 string basses. And
but you got an 8 string sitting right over there behind this thing.
Sure do.
It's a ridiculous looking thing. We'll have to
that's
another story on that.
That's late 70s thinking there.
That is going to shoot pyrotechnics out of the headstock.
It makes you wonder. You could definitely kill somebody with that bass.
Yeah, and people got really, really creative, and one of those was Knopfler. So Romeo and Juliet, one of my favorite tunes by Dire Straits, right? He takes his he's got a national too, right? It's like that beautiful resonator that's it's on the cover of Brothers in Arms.
Right.
Beautiful guitar.
Flying in the clouds.
Yeah, he could play the hell out of that thing, right? So he takes that thing and it's like it's in like open G, I think, or something, or open. He and then capos it at like the 7th. And it's like, how did he come up with that? How did he figure that?
Man, these guys who play like that. They're true experimenters. They don't stop.
No,
they just keep at it.
No, and then it will take you a solid year to learn how to play that song, because you got to pick it exactly right. And it's
agreed. Well, Knopfler's bad. He's bad to the bone, man. There's no way around it.
2018, I think 2019, 2018, he was in Nashville, and it wasn't sold out yet. Cheapest ticket was $2,300.
Ouch. That's expensive.
Yeah.